Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that you guys are having a great Ramadan so far. So, I am currently, still not feeling 100%, but alhamdulillah, I'm getting better. I still do have kind of a sore throat. So, if you guys see me slip up and cough like a man a couple times, please excuse me because I'm trying my best, okay? Trying my best to cut out the coughing for you guys. So you guys don't have to hear that, especially if you're wearing headphones, that won't be good. But we're trying. So alhamdulillah, you guys ate up the last episode, which was the tea talk number 2, right? And you guys really liked it, and that made me so happy because I enjoy sitting here talking about, whatever, however, and I find that so much more fun. Of course I enjoy the planned episodes as well, but like I really do enjoy sometimes just not having to think too much and just letting out, whatever. And but I didn't know how you guys felt about it, but that actually came out to be one of my most listened episodes as well. So I don't know what happened, but alhamdulillah. So I do want to talk about quite a few things in here. I want to talk about the currency that never dies out. I want to talk about how this podcast started. I want to talk about some of the behind the scene things. I kind of want to tell you about myself. I know that that's something that I feel like I have shared a lot about myself about on here, but I also haven't in regards to the podcast. So I just, a bunch of random stuff. So I want to start off by telling you guys, first of all, something that I should have addressed a long time ago, but I didn't. And now I'm going to talk about it right now, which is also one of the reasons I'm making this episode. So, alhamdulillah, I want to say that I'm really grateful for all the love and everything that I receive on the podcast, right? And I bet you guys have heard like bajillion people always say, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the support. It's just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But really, like I am. And it sucks because it's like, words don't express it enough. So, of course, I keep you guys in my duas and, may Allah accept that. I mean, but anyway, so I genuinely am really grateful because there's a really big backstory as to my podcast and my Instagram, and I'm going to talk about that on here. And then, inshallah, that also inspires someone to start something new for themselves as well. I have shared quite a lot in my life that I was at a dark place, multiple areas of my life. Is the term dark place even good? I don't like that term, but I was at a low place in my life quite a few times, and it was consecutive too. It was going on for years, and I talked and shared those stories a lot on my podcast. Those are also one of those stories that made my podcast. I'm dead. No, literally, y'all. Like the episodes that got me, got people to know about my podcast were my trauma dumping episodes or my episodes where I just talked about, my situation. So, hey, it is what it is. It paid off. I mentioned this before too, but one of the big reasons why I started my podcast was because I'm really lonely. I know, shocker. I mean, is it though? Is it? I don't think it is. And I'll tell y'all more about that in a minute. But I also posted on Instagram what Q&A questions y'all want me to answer, like personal ones, and I will be answering those in this one as well if you're wondering. So yeah, just getting that out the way. But anyway, every single thing that I do is a reminder for me before it is for anyone else, and I want to start off with that. Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful that I get to see TikToks and like my podcast is in there. I go absolutely crazy. I save them in my camera roll and I'm like, that's me. I get so happy. Or like when I see reels and like y'all put my TikTok in there, y'all don't even know, bro. Y'all don't even know. And then sometimes I don't ever see them because people don't tag me. If you see a TikTok and I am in it, tag me. Tag me. Make me happy. Tag me. It makes my day. So I love seeing them. And it's easy to be or act like you're on a pedestal because, a community listens to your things like that. But the truth about the podcast, the truth about everything is that it's actually a reminder for me first. And I share this story a lot where I used to do a lot on TikTok. I had a different TikTok account. I used to post on it like 6 times a day. And it fell short. Yeah, I don't even know, I got shadow banned. I don't know. But it just stopped working, okay? And then eventually I had to make a new one. And I shared the story before, but if you don't know it because you're a new listener, I essentially made a new one and I made it with my friend. And, we used to both post TikToks together. We don't use that account anymore. Nothing personal. It's just we're both so busy now. But I posted like mini podcasts on there and they used to be like 60 seconds and I used to just talk about Lord knows what. And then someone one day commented, okay, so where's the full one? And that made me so happy. And I was like, oh, one person wants to listen to me talk. And then I made a whole anchor that night, yo. I went that same evening. I shut my door, got on my phone. How do you make a podcast? How do you put it on Google? How do you put it on Spotify? And I was doing everything to figure out how you do it because one person commented, okay? Got 32 views and one person commented, and I was like, this is my big break. This is it. So it is what it is. And then I decided that it was time to, make a podcast because I love to talk. Also, I felt like I wanted to do more. At this time, I had an Instagram, and my Instagram was more of like a hobby blog type of thing, if anything. I made wallpapers, and if you scroll down far enough, you'll see it. I still have some on my story highlights wallpapers where I just made really pretty little wallpapers, and like I used to post them on my highlights so you could screenshot them and set them up. And then like people used to like send me DMs or like post it on the story whenever they like set up my wallpaper as their lock screen. It made me so happy. And there's a big reason behind why I actually did this. I'm that type of person that my phone wallpaper, this is gonna sound so stupid, but my phone wallpaper, like, it needs to be something meaningful. I don't, what's my phone wallpaper right now? Well, right now it's not meaningful, okay? It's just some scenery, but I feel like when you have a certain quote and you put as your wallpaper, it really, really makes a difference because you read it every single day. Every single time you open up your phone, you see that. So that became something that really helped me. And anytime I was in school, anytime that I was in situations where I was being tested and I was really, at a bad place, anytime I opened up my phone, I used to see that reminder and it used to make me so much more happier. And I know other people are like that as well. So I decided I'm gonna start making wallpapers. Y'all, my throat, I can't. So, sorry. I decided to start making wallpapers. But anyway, I think the emotional aspect of this was that, when I started making the podcast, the first thing was always that, I think we are all sinful in one way, shape, or form. And I was like, I am, I've messed up a lot. And I was like, I just don't understand what can potentially be any support of good deeds for me, whether I die, whether I'm alive. Like, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything that is beneficial. Even if I was reading Quran, even if I was praying, I was like, I just don't feel like I'm helping anyone. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, for the amount of bad deeds that I've done, I just don't think that anyone can rescue me. And at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that, you can do as many good deeds as you want, but it's Allah's mercy that gets you into heaven, no matter what, right? But you obviously have to do the good actions. You have to do the good deeds to prove that you are a true believer, to prove that you're even worthy of the concept of heaven. So, what happened was, for a lot of years in my life, I had this concept and this mindset where no matter what I do will never be enough. Today, I still have that mindset, but I view it differently. Back in the day, for years, it was no matter what I do, it'll never be enough, so I'm not going to do anything at all. That's bad. What I changed my mindset to was no matter how much I do, it won't be enough, but that means I can do as much as I potentially can while I'm alive. Then inshallah God will judge me based off of that, and hopefully I'll have something, you know what I'm saying? I won't go empty-handed on the day of judgment. So that is the mindset. And that's the thing. Some people are caught up in, I don't, no matter what I do won't be enough, so why should I do anything? But the question comes down to, if it won't be enough, then you might as well just try to at least do as much as you can while you're here. So at least no one can say that you didn't try, right? And so that was a mindset. The TikToks, the wallpapers, they weren't sufficing anymore, and I felt like I needed more. And like I mentioned, throughout this time, the podcast was alive after that girl commented. And, I started doing my podcast, whatever. But it was like, I used to make them 10, 11 minutes. And I had barely any listeners. Majority of all the listeners were me, okay? From a different account. Or my friends, where I used to be please just listen to it. And some of my closest best friends actually don't listen to my podcast. They listen to it now and then, but they don't listen to it because I know them. I've known them my entire life, so they know what I'm gonna say. But whatever. So it was I had no one listening to me, and it wasn't until one day this random girl who was 26 texted me. She was a revert of I think 6 years. She texts me and she goes, "Oh my god, I love your podcast. I hope that you're doing good. You're so cute. Whatever. You're a lot younger than me." And I was like, "Oh, someone likes my work." That's it. That one DM, bro. That one DM. I was skyrocketed. I was on cloud 9. I was uploading more. I was like, it helped someone. It got to someone, and I think she lives in California. So cute. I'm still really close friends with her. I have her number, whatnot. But she was my first ever supporter, I guess you could say. And I love her. Literally, she made me so happy. One of the reasons why I kept uploading was her. She used to encourage me on every single episode, and it kept me going because it was finally encouragement from someone that isn't someone I know. You know what I'm saying? It's someone I met through this, and I got really happy of that. However, all things come to a slope. And throughout this time, I was also having a Discord.
And in the Discord, it was really dry. It only had like 7 people, me being one of them. Well, it only had 3 in the beginning. It was me being one of them, one of my best friends that I forced to join, then one other girl that came, thank God. But eventually, over time, it got to 7 people, which was a really big deal for me. Okay, so 7 people in the Discord, and I mean, you can only talk so much with 7 people, really. Then at one point, it just got exhausting because like we know each other, and what do you want me to say to you? Like I see you every day, you know. So there were a lot of points where I was just losing motivation because I was like, I'm doing this because I want. Okay, here's the thing. You want to get good deeds, but when your work is not getting out there and everything that you're doing is not being seen, you start to question it like, is this for me or am I wasting my time? And there was a lot of times when I questioned what I did, I had people around me also kind of make me question what I was doing. And I have always kind of heard the you're too young, or maybe you shouldn't be doing this, or are you sure you're qualified for this? Are you sure this is something you're talking about? And if you want me to be honest with you guys, it wasn't until my podcast actually took off that people stopped kind of saying those things to me. I still hear those things, but I feel like it just shows you like people are gonna really they're always gonna have something to judge you for when you're at when you're beginning and starting off. And a lot of times I did want to listen to what they were saying and think, okay, well maybe I should just shut up because I'm not a mufti, I'm not a sheikh, I'm not an imam, I'm no one special, I'm not an alima, I have nothing special to me. I take classes, I learn, but like there's nothing special to me. And then I was like, well, maybe that's the special part, that I'm not a label. I mean, I don't have a big title, unfortunately. Inshallah, maybe soon in the future, whatnot. But I don't have a big title. I'm a normal person. I'm gonna go to college soon, inshallah. I have no clue, like maybe what I want to be. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Like, I'm a normal person. And maybe someone needs to hear normal person, because you so many times you hear advice from people that are muftis and imams and sheikhs, and you should be listening to them. I'm not saying don't, but sometimes you want to hear it from a normal person too. And I was like, well, I'm a normal person, and maybe that's what makes it special. So I have had people around me tell me that, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing it, maybe da 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 whatever. And it wasn't until like people started sharing my podcast and like different TikToks, and it popped up on those people's FYPs and whatnot, and people were like, oh, hold on, you're on a TikTok. And then I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And my podcast, like, I think I mentioned this, it really took off one day when I posted on TikTok, and I don't know why, but it was just this one video and it really went well. And then from there, it became an inclination where people started following me on Instagram, and then whatever, it went great. It was all God's plan, alhamdulillah. And then the Discord took off in the most weirdest way, but it was great. Like, it was growing steady with the podcast. But there was this girl on TikTok, I don't even remember her username, I don't know her at all, never talked to her, but she posted a TikTok where she was sharing screenshots of her messages with her best friend, where her best friend was helping her out with the deen and whatnot, sending her hadiths and whatnot. And she was like, oh, talking about how much she loves her best friend. And it was a really popular video, got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Ks of views and likes. And everyone was in the comments saying, I wish I had someone like that. I wish I had people like that around me. And some girl from my Discord commented saying, if you're looking for like a community, you're looking for someone to talk to, whatnot, make friends, go on Islamic Feelings Instagram, and then like click her link and then join her Discord. And then I was getting tagged, and I opened up my TikTok and I was getting tagged like crazy, and I was like, what is going on? Is this the moment that I get canceled so quick in my career? No, alhamdulillah. But it was just everyone like joining, and I was now, alhamdulillah, the Discord has 700 people. It's nearly 700 girls, and it's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful blessing. I love having them all there. I'm sometimes reading the chats from like my notification. I unfortunately don't have much time to be active in there because I try to answer DMs privately and whatnot, but it's great. Like, I'm glad to see people actually make use of it. And it's so shocking because a lot of girls actually found out they live near each other and they're gonna meet up, and I'm like, this is so great. I'm so happy for you guys. So that girl, she probably did not even know that was going to happen with her TikTok, but she pinned my comment. She pinned the comment that the girl from my Discord wrote about joining my Discord. And you know what? Inshallah, she gets rewarded for every single person that joins and every single good thing. So that was that. That's how the Discord kind of took off. And then the podcast from there, it was like a steady growth thing. And I'm grateful because, like, in a year and a half, I never saw any of this coming. And I know you guys hear that a lot too, when people are like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. And you're like, yeah, whatever. But like, I genuinely am. I make dua for this with every prayer. And I think my biggest fear really would be to be a hypocrite, or to say an advice that I don't follow, or to come off as something that I'm not, which is why I'm very open and honest that all the advice that I give on here is for me, myself first, before it is for any of you guys. Anything that I share, I'm no way, shape, or form saying I'm perfect. I'm just sharing the advice, the suggestions, the opinions that I think are, that might work out nice. Also, with the context of Islam. So please do not ever think that I am a perfect person. I'm not. I know you guys hear that a lot too, and you probably think like, oh yeah, they're still good people. They have a podcast. They're still good people. They talk about Islam. Trust me, no, I'm a normal person. And inshallah that answers that. So now let's answer the Q&As on Instagram. I asked you guys to ask me a bunch of questions. Some of y'all just left like personal questions. Some of them are like just topics. So I'm gonna try to go through them as quick as I can. Okay, the first question is, do you look like your profile picture? Because I always imagined the face to be different than the voice. I don't know if I should take that as an insult. I don't know what you imagine me to look like, but yes, I kind of do look like my profile picture. I actually try to do my hijab like that too, so that is the most accurate representation you will probably ever get of me. My family's from Pakistan, and I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and then now I live in Atlanta. And I'd like to believe I look Pakistani, but I've had people tell me likewise. Again, I don't know if I don't know what they mean by that, but I mean, I look like my profile picture. I hope that helps. Next one's a statement. Hijab and proper way of dressing modest. Okay, look, my opinion on this is that I think we're all on a journey about, dressing modest, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that we should all acknowledge, however, where we're at. The one thing that I disagree with is Instagram hijabi fashion and how we've made it seem like that is the end goal. Like dressing, in nice tight dresses. It doesn't matter if it doesn't show skin, it's modest. And I don't like that logic. I find that logic to be flawed, if anything. And I don't like how Instagram fashion has made it seem like that is the end goal, and this is very misleading for young girls. This is very misleading for reverts. I disagree with it, and I feel like, again, we're all on a journey. That's that. I respect that. I understand that, and it's okay if that's the phase that you're at. What I'm saying is, don't make it seem like that is the end goal, because it's not. That is one thing that I'm really big on for that. Next one, how do you deal with specific temptations and wanting to go into a sin you want to do? Okay, here is my logic. I measure out the time frame. I think it's very normal as human beings to fall into temptations, but when you can rationally think about it, I measure out the time frames. If I'm gonna fulfill my temptation, do whatever I want, whatever it may be, it's gonna keep me happy for how long? It's gonna make me satisfied for how long? Maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 weeks, whatever. But the downfall after you give into whatever you want to do. Let's say you want to listen to a song, 3 minutes. And after that, you're gonna have a downfall. You're gonna have a slope. You're gonna have so much regret. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna be like, why'd I do that? Then it's gonna be like, oh, I gotta start all over again. It feels like you're starting all over from square A, actually. So it's like, why do it? I measure out time frames. I rationally think about it. It's gonna feel great for 3 minutes, and then right when it's about to end, I'm gonna be like, crap, I hated that. Why'd I do that? I wish I never did that. So measure out the time frames. That always helps. Next one is loving someone you can't be with. Okay, I have a very interesting take on this. My take is I'm a 100% firm believer in no gray areas, okay? I feel like life is a lot better when you stop living in the gray areas. I feel like if something's meant to be, yes, it'll happen. If something's not meant to be, no, it won't happen, right? Is it possible that you're gonna have years of your life where it's gonna be, I don't know, I hope so, maybe? Yeah, yeah. But what I like to do that made my life a lot better is I stopped thinking so much about the I don't know, I hope, maybes. And what I do is I made it either a yes or a no. Now, if you're in love with someone and you know you can't physically be with them, in your mind, mentally, I feel like at that point, I'd register to just be a no. If you know that there's something really big that's stopping you and him from being together, it's something that can't change. Maybe it's a religious barrier, maybe it's a, I don't know, family cultural barrier. I mean, that could be changed, but like, you just know that it's not going to work out, then let it go and take it as a no in your head. Be like, okay, this was a situation, it didn't work, and let's move on. It's very possible that you will love someone and you want to get the chance to be with them. This is life, it happens, and inshallah may Allah reunite all of you with who you love in Jannah. I mean, but it's unfortunate because a lot of people end up living in the maybe, in the no, in the well, I love that person. Do I believe that love is everything? Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't. Here's the thing. I feel like when we say that love is everything, we tend to ignore a lot of other things. We don't take into account other behaviors, other accountabilities, other responsibilities, because we're like, oh, love is everything. If someone does you wrong, well, it's okay, love is everything. Someone can't financially support you, well, it's okay, love is everything. And when it comes to finances, I do agree that, hard times, they come upon everyone. If you're genuinely with a good person, that's not an issue, right? But someone will abuse you, disrespect you. You'll say, well, love is everything, love conquers all. I'm afraid no, because this is toxic love. This is not regular love, and I don't think that that should be worth staying. So if you're in love with someone and you know you can't be with them, do not torture yourself every day. Do not sit here and remember their thoughts and remember what you guys had and whatnot, because if you can't be with them, Realize that there's a reason on the surface and there's a deeper reason that God knows. Let them go. Let yourself free. Breathe. Start over. There's lots of people in the world. I hate it when people say that. I hate when people say, oh, there's lots of fish in the sea. There's lots of people. I'm like, shut up. Like, you don't understand. But, as I got older, I'm a firm believer. There's lots of people. Millions and thousands. I read this quote. It said, you have not met all the people in your life yet that want to love you or will love you. And I stand by that. So breathe and don't live in the gray area. Next one's a similar question. Should we cling on to hope that it will work or should we let it go? Okay. I think this again depends on your situation. I want you to be honest with yourself. If the person that you're clinging on to the hope for has inevitably obviously said no to your face and they're with someone else now, they're getting with someone else, they're gonna get married to someone else, whatever the situation may be, like it's a flat no, then you shouldn't cling on to hope because you're hurting yourself. Again, you're living in the gray area. You're hoping that they'll come back, you're hoping that they will change, you're hoping that maybe they'll leave who they're with and come to you. But my thing is, if someone really loves you, they won't waste their time with someone else. They won't waste their time with other people. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I just said that love isn't everything, and I'm not trying to sound a hypocrite. It's not. But I'm saying, like, when you are with someone, how do I explain this? Like, look, if you are actively with someone, don't keep the mindset that love is everything, because there's accountability, there's responsibilities, there's stuff that goes into it. When you are away with someone and, you're clinging on to hope, or you're trying to make something work out, focus on quality. Do you feel like this person even wants you that bad? Because if they're with someone else, they don't want you that bad. They don't. Even no matter what y'all had, no matter how great it was in the beginning, no matter what they said, people say a lot of things. I can sit here and say that I'm this, I'm that, but I'm not, right? So, first of all, judging on quality, how honest and truthful was this person? Maybe they were truthful at one point. Maybe they really did want you. But then someone else came and completely took their attention. And in my opinion, you just don't want me bad enough if someone else can take your attention. That's just my opinion. That isn't insecure. That isn't mean. I just think that it's a matter of quality, right? So should you cling on to hope? In my opinion, no. Because again, love isn't everything. Honesty is, responsibility is, accountability is, truthfulness is. And if someone could leave you in a gray area like that, unfortunately, I don't think that they're worthy. I'm a firm believer as a woman, if a man wants you, he's either going to do yes or he's going to do no, okay? And I have some men that listen to this and they low-key know that I'm right, okay? It's either yes or it's a no. Because when men really want a girl, they go crazy. They go crazy after her. You tell him anything and he'll do it. Like, he'll do it, okay? He'll do it, trust me. So, it's either yes or it's a no. Now, if you're with a guy and he's kind of like, yeah, I see, I like you, yeah, I'll send my parents, yeah, yeah, no. He's in the between. He's like just in the middle. And it's like, I just don't feel like the passion's not there, okay? So that's my 2 cents on that. How do you cope in Ramadan from abstaining from sin? Okay, I don't think that us human beings ever can be 100% sinless. I sin too. I think one thing that really helps me is I don't know why this always helps, but I'm like, it's literally the month of Ramadan, okay? The best month, first of all. There's people out there in this world that are starving. They don't have anything to eat for sehri. They don't have anything to eat for sahur, I guess you could say. They don't have anything to eat for iftari. And they're fasting, they're starving, they're hungry. And I'm here upset. I'm here getting angry over petty problems. I'm here doing sins for petty reasons. Is it worth it? And sometimes I genuinely sit there, I'm like, girl, is it worth it? And I'm like, that's so embarrassing. No, don't do that. So I feel like the way that that's really functioning in my head is, again, time frame. I'm like, I'm gonna regret doing this in a matter of like 5 seconds. Next one, was there ever a time you struggled with prayer? I think that's, of course, yes. I feel like, alhamdulillah, it's a blessing of my parents that they forced us growing up. They're like, you gotta pray, you gotta pray, you gotta pray. Now, some people may view that as a bad thing. Some people may say, oh, they're forcing you, that's, whatnot. I think that was the best thing they could have ever done. I hear some parents, Muslim parents, and they say, I will never force my kids to pray. And I'm like, why? Okay, look, there's a difference between like forcing to the point that they'll abuse you. That wasn't what I went through, alhamdulillah. It was like forcing, like, hey, you better pray, it's not good for you if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. They'll be like, okay, just don't come down until you pray. Something like that, like, go ahead and pray. Some people, if you're not Muslim, you find this toxic, you find this abusive. But I think that our parents, they have realized what prayer does. They know what a miracle is. They know what a great thing it is. So they want your kids to see the same thing. That's how I like to perceive it. If I have kids, I'm going to tell them that you have to pray, but I'm also going to make sure to tell them why they need to pray, how it helps your life, and what it does for you. A lot of our older parents, unfortunately, they don't teach that part, because they think that's a little bit deeper of a thought. They tell you have to pray or else you're gonna go to hell. They don't tell you that if you pray, all these doors will open up for you to get closer to God. That's not something they tell their kids. That's not their fault. Unfortunately, a lot of parents, they just weren't raised hearing that as well. So I'm not upset at my parents, or any parents really in general, for that, because I understand why some parents have never done that. I know for a fact that when it comes, when I just have to tell anyone, even when I'm at parties, like little, family gatherings, and I see younger kids, I tell them, if the topic comes up, I do mention them. I'm like, it's good for you. Like, it helps you ultimately, right? So, that is what I feel like is my 2 cents on that. Now, of course, when I was a teen, my 12, 13, 14, 15, like I was praying, but I had no connection at all. Like, I was doing it just to do it. And by that point, it wasn't like my parents forced me. Like when we were young, when we were like, 10 to 12, maybe our parents were like, gotta pray, go pray, make sure you pray. But then after a certain point, my parents were like, you're old enough, you know exactly the consequences, you know the benefits, you are responsible for you. And I agree with that logic as well, because I feel like when someone wants to take accountability, they will. And at that age, they weren't on me to pray. They knew that I knew that I had to pray 5 times a day, right? They knew that I was already doing it. They weren't on me. But I had no connection with God, so I was just doing it because I also felt guilty leaving it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a relationship where I was like, I want to do it, but I just don't feel anything doing it. So I that was the time where I really did struggle, and that got fixed over time when I learned more about Islam and the miracles behind Islam and the scientific miracles. And I feel like when you appeal to your intellect and your logic, why you believe in your faith, it helps a lot emotionally. Next question is things to do as a hijabi to make life easier. Okay, let's get into this discussion. I am team cotton hijab all the way. Fight the wall, beat the wall, don't talk to me. I just can't tolerate chiffon. I can't tolerate it. It'd be slipping, sliding, flying, everything except sticking on my head, okay? And I get it. Some people say, oh, just wear the undercap. But I don't like it. I don't like it. I am such a cotton, or there's this pashmina silk. Y'all, let me talk about my pashmina silk. I'm so passionate about this discussion. Can you please just listen to me for 2 seconds and make me happy? There is this type of fabric. It's called pashmina silk. Okay, it's not that expensive. I know it sounds like it might be, I don't know, but you can literally get it off like Madanisa. I think it comes from Turkey. I got my first pashmina silk scarf as like a gift from my friend, and it was from Madanisa. Amazing. It's like a pashmina shawl thing, and it's like cotton, but it's not cotton, but it's like flowy, but it's chef's kiss. Highly encourage getting that. It's like very beautiful fabric too. I like cotton. I know some people say, oh ew, I hate cotton, but I feel like if you get the right type of cotton, it's really nice. I love cotton. I like how it sticks. Next thing, please get hijab magnets. My worst phase of my life was when I didn't have hijab magnets. I used to be folding it for dear life and it wouldn't stick. I know some people like the stick pins that are just like the pins that go through. That's fine. I'm cool with those too. I just don't like the fact that they make holes in them. And when you're a full-time unemployed child, literally, anytime people are like, what's your employment status? I'm like, full-time unemployed, just so I can sound like I do something, whatever. Like, I just feel like, hijabs are really expensive. Let's talk about that though, because they are. Some stores are selling them for like $25 for one, and I'm like, oh, this better make me turn to like a Pegasus. I better be flying, because $25 for one hijab, for one scarf. No. So you want to make sure you're taking care of them. There are these not magnets, they're like these pins, like that little butterfly-ish V-shaped clips, and they're like these little V's, they're like little 2 dots on them, and like they go in and it's like shut. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're a girl, you know what I'm talking about. They're like these little V-shaped clips. Just type them in on Google. I highly encourage getting those. They stick really nice. And next thing that I recommend as a hijabi to make life easier, honestly, stop thinking that everyone's looking at you just because you wear a hijab. I bet people are, and I did that too, where I was like, okay, everyone's staring at me, and sometimes people were staring at me, but I'm just like, I don't care. They probably think my hijab's beautiful, so it's okay. Okay, but I'm just like, you know what, it's okay. Who cares? They want to stay, they want to stay. They want to look at me, they can look at me, because some people, they just genuinely have never seen a hijabi before, and that's okay. Don't be so upset about it. Don't get worked up about it. Don't let yourself feel belittled because of it. The next question's interesting. What is your opinion on early marriage, age gap, and divorce? Okay, you brought up a big topic. what is my opinion on early marriage? Early marriage, when someone does early marriage, I assume 18, 19, 20, 21 aroundish. I know 22, some people think that's early too, but like in the Pakistani community, like 22, 21, they're like, yeah, you better get married now. I feel like early marriage, speaking from a Pakistani person, like the community wise, I feel like that would be 18 to 20. Um, what's my opinion on it? Okay, I have lots of opinions on it. Thanks for asking. Let's get into them. It is sunnah to get married young. I agree. Nothing wrong with that. And I think that if you genuinely have met the love of your life at, 18, 19, and I'm not saying that's not possible. It is if you met them through the halal proper way and, whatever the situation may be or however it worked out, right? And like you genuinely know this is the right person, then, and you tell your parents and like they're like, okay, you could get married, then I'm cool for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you lose anything. You want to make sure you're getting married to someone that they will understand if you want to continue your education. They'll understand if you want to continue getting a job, whatnot. I do think that it's very important for okay how do I talk about this without making this the whole episode? Unfortunately, I feel like in our community we have made it a standard where it's either you get married and you stay at home, or you get a very, very, very great education and you got to be a doctor and then you get married. And then there's the in between where the aunties, they expect you to be a doctor, go to 16 plus years of schooling, also get married, also have kids, also take care of a house. And I think that if this is your expectation, you better be up in there helping out, because I feel like I disagree so much with how much pressure, unfortunately, society has put on women to have an amazing education, amazing degrees, and then also get married, also take care of the house. And then what's even more sad is that sometimes they make girls get such big educations and they're like, okay, well, you're married now, so you don't need the degree, sit at home. Huh? I, okay, here's the thing. It's not even a question whether women should be getting educated or not. Like Islam, obviously, education is key. That's a big thing. But if you have so much cultural pressure that they want you to be a doctor, they want you to have a PhD, they also want you to get married, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be very honest with you. If your family expects that from you, they better be on the front lines helping you as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because sometimes girls have to pick, do I want to get educated, do I want to get married? And I don't think it should be an option. I think that you should be doing both. you know um I know a lot of parents, they think that their daughter should at least have master's degree before getting married. I don't disagree with that. I don't. But do I think that if you meet someone really amazing in between, you should tell your parents? Of course, you should at least tell them. You should at least let them know that, hey, there's someone that exists. I found someone for myself. So don't go out there, searching back at home. I found someone. I think that you should be open and honest about it. I think, unfortunately, a lot of kids are not honest with their parents when they do find someone, and it leads to a very big drama. Just be honest. Even if your parents get blown up about it, just be honest, because it's only going to save you long term, and you did what's right Islamically, especially if you're distancing away from them and you told your parents. So that's my opinion on early marriage. I do think that it is a little bit scary because you never know what can happen, but at the same time, like, you want to make sure that you're not infatuated. That's what I'm saying. Like, you want to make sure that you are not head over heels over someone and you don't even know them. You want to make sure that you want to know this person for sure. Because it could be unfortunate that you get married to them and by like 24, you're like, I hate this person. Who is that? You know? And you're like, I'm now who I am and who I was when I was 19 are two different people, and I just can't be with this person anymore. So, that happens a lot often too. I know lots of girls that got married young and they got divorced by like 20. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not, criticizing them. But your mindset now is very different. So some people say, how do you avoid getting married early? I just avoid men as a whole. Until your time comes, honestly. Boys got cooties. I don't know what to tell you. Just, I don't know what to tell you. I think, like, Allah's gonna bring the right person in front of you at whatever time it's written for you, so it's not in your control. But you do have to be honest with your parents. You do have to tell them early. And if you genuinely feel like he can afford to get get you married again, love is not everything. Love is great, trust me, it is, and it's very important. But make sure that you can like afford the lifestyle, and afford to like have food on the table. No one's saying to be multimillionaires traveling in Dubai where you can't even afford a smoothie. Just have food on the table, have a bed to sleep on. Like, make sure that this person will suffice no matter what, that this person won't run away when things get hard. So that's that. What's my opinion on divorce? I don't think that divorce, okay, I feel like communities have made divorce like it's like hell down, like it's the worst thing. You get divorced, you're going to hell. No, divorce is not a great thing. It's not, but it is also unfair to say to women that are getting abused, that are, getting beaten up, oh, just have patience. What do you mean you want to get divorced? That's crazy. You want to get divorced? Do you know how bad that is? Everyone's going to talk about you. woman, I don't care. Like, that's the thing. Some women are in marriages where they're getting beaten up and people are telling them, oh, just have some patience, he'll get better. No, it's not right. And unfortunately, some mothers, they don't have the chance to leave because, they have their own situations or whatever it may be. So it's not fair. I do think that we have made it kind of harsh on the women. What is my opinion on age cap? Okay. Islam does not have an age, right? I think I talked about this a lot, where, some people have mentioned that, it doesn't have a necessary age. They say that after you hit puberty, you're ready for marriage, whatnot, whatnot. Okay. I understand that, and I'm not saying I disagree with that. I get that. Yeah. However, I do find it kind of disturbing how there will be men that are 45 and they won't want to get married to a girl that's 32, 35, 38. No, they want a girl that's 18. I find that to be grooming. I find that to be a little bit strange. Now, some people like to bring up back in the day. Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, when she was young. Life expectancy back in the day was very, very short, okay? So by the time she got married, that was like mid of her life, right? If we're talking like age expectancy wise as a whole. So that's a whole other thing. I feel like it's unfortunate because people don't follow the sunnah where they also say you can marry women older than you. No one said you can't. Go ahead, you can. If you are 20, you like a girl that's 25, even bigger, okay? No one said you can't marry her. It's sunnah to marry, women that are older than you, but you just don't like to hear that one. And I feel like one thing that really does disturb me is when men want to have, wives that are so young that some of them barely started their periods. And I don't think that's okay because I feel like even mentally, like if you just started your period, like you barely know anything, you're still developing. And it concerns me when men want women that are like 12, 14, because I'm like, why do you want it that young? Why? Like, start listing the reasons and you will see how janked up that sounds. Okay? Why do you want a 14-year-old? Tell me why. See how awkward that is? See how embarrassing that is? But our communities won't ask them, which is what I disagree with. Which is why, like, sometimes when I see that, I'd be so ready to say something like, "Oh, why you want a 14-year-old? Tell me why. What's the reasons?" But I just okay. Now here's the thing. Now, if we're talking about like on a legal perspective, where girls may be 22, the guy may be like 28, I don't find that to be that big of a deal because it's like, I feel like 7, 8 years, it's normal-ish among communities. But I feel like when someone is like 12 and the other dude is like 35, like, I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around it. I know that some people genuinely are like, oh, it's okay, Islam doesn't have an age, but like, I just don't think you need to find someone suitable for you. The only reason why I would see a man wanting to marry a 55-year-old wanting to marry like a 14-year-old is only for desires. I don't see anything else. I don't see a mentality reason. I don't see a personality reason. I don't see it. And that's not good. Okay, next one. You probably get this a lot, but any marriage plans? Inshallah. I mean, of course. It's this is weird. First of all, I don't get that a lot. Alhamdulillah. But I don't have any like plans right now. Obviously, I hopefully inshallah intend on getting lots of education and then looking towards that. And hopefully, my mom does something about it because I don't know if I will be able to bring someone forth, but no. Of course, right as of right now, no, because I'm young, but I do have the intention, of course, when I get older. But yeah, that's my plan on that. I do think that that is something, inshallah. I think it's sunnah, whatnot. I'll go about it to see how my parents say, and then of course, if I find someone, like as of right now, I haven't found anything. So yeah. The next one is also a statement that says losing a loved one. I think the biggest thing that I could tell you about losing a loved one is don't view it from a selfish perspective. When we lose a loved one, we say, oh my god, this person died, they meant so much to me, I have so many good memories with them, they were important to me, I couldn't live without them. Stop. It's not about you right now. This person, inshallah, if they were a good Muslim, they're free from this world's shackles. They're free from the need of having to work for an income. They're free from the need of being judgment. They're free from toxic cultures. They're free. They're in their grave now. And inshallah, may their grave be even more restful than their bed. For the believers, it's It's great. So inshallah, I think that's how I like to perceive it. You know, to Allah we belong. It is what it is. It's going to happen to everyone at some point or another. So don't let it get to you so much that you lose your sense of reality. This person, inshallah, if they're a good Muslim, they're in a better place now. They really are. You know, even if they're just in their grave, you know, whatever is going on in them, it inshallah is working with their favor. How to deal with a sibling that is always hurts you and is fueled with a narcissistic power by their partner, something like that. Okay. You know what my opinion is? I feel like sometimes, even if it's family, I'm not saying to cut ties. Don't do that because you know family is really important in Islam. But I think sometimes you gotta take a step back and be like, okay, you are being fueled by someone else, or you are maybe being a narcissist by someone else, or you are yourself, and it's a problem. I think the first thing that I like to view it as is to be very honest. You can see a person as a narcissist and think, oh, they're so stuck up, but you can also realize that in psychology, there's actually a personality disorder which is actually called narcissistic personality disorder. It's an actual medical term. Sometimes I like to view it as that and be like, okay, this person actually has a problem. Okay, it's not an insulting thing, it's not a mean thing, it's not a me trying to be offensive towards something. They actually have a problem, and they may not know it, and you may try to tell them, they may not realize it, and that's why you need to try to be, you know, as kind as you could be and as patient as you can be, but realize that the reward of all of this comes from your Lord, because you stay silent, you bear through these things, you're bearing through however people are treating you. Stay silent, take a step back, make dua for them. Next one, learning how to forgive someone who isn't sorry. Oh, this is great. You know what? I feel like there's nothing here for you. I always tell people this. You get nothing from not forgiving. You know what I'm saying? You forgive, it's good for you. When you don't forgive, you sit there getting guilty. You sit there thinking, should I have forgiven them? Why did they look so happy today? Why did they look so good today? Maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe I messed up. Like you're always thinking about something. When you forgive, that's it. You don't lose anything. You're done, over with, gone. That's it. Right? And if someone isn't sorry, then it's okay. It's okay. Let them not be sorry. That's between them and Allah. Your job is to forgive. You forgive, you did your part. No one's going to ask you about that because you're done. They aren't sorry. They think that they're the best person in the world. They totally didn't mess up. Okay. Okay. You know, all right. But don't worry about how they feel. Just apologize. Allow yourself to forgive. You're setting yourself free in the process. Struggling in Ramadan. Okay, another statement. I think the biggest thing that I can tell you for this is that Ramadan is a process. It's a month. It gets better every day. You know, if you fall back once, you gotta get up again. You just have to. That's the thing. Like, don't let yourself slip. And once you realize how you can keep falling up and getting up again in a matter of just a month, you'll see that you have that potential to do it even outside of Ramadan. So don't let yourself, you know, get belittled. I know that some of us can't fast. I know that some of us can't do the things that we wish to do. But that's the thing. You find creative ways to get to Allah. You find creative ways to make Allah pleased with you. You know what I'm saying? If you've never cooked before, but you can't fast this Ramadan, you learn how to cook just for the people. Think about it. It's a creative way. It's a new way. Try to find those things that make it better for you. What keeps you motivated every single day? That's a great question. Wow. Not you getting me thinking. Okay. I think the fact that I had a really janked up past and I woke up again today. And I'm like, I woke up again today, which means I have another chance to repent. I have another chance to pray. I have another chance to make things right. Unfortunately, sometimes I do wake up in the morning and the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I gotta get downstairs. I gotta make this. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. Like, my head's just going crazy. But then sometimes I'm like, wait, like you woke up.
So, yeah, gratefulness is key. The next one is, what is your advice to someone starting out to wear the hijab? I get this question so much. I get this discussion so much at my DMs as well. Listen, guys, I mean, girls, I think I should say, y'all, you're never 100% going to be ready for a lot of things in life. You're going to have to go and blindly jump into a lot of things and see that those things are good for you. So many girls are like, I'm going to wait till I'm ready. I'm going to wait till I'm ready. And yeah, some girls do actually end up feeling like they're ready. But then also some of them never do. You cannot rely God's obligation on an emotional state. I was like that too, where I kind of sometimes used to think, I'm like, am I ready? Am I not ready? It's not about me not being ready or being ready. It's about the fact that this is good for me. And so many people think that, well, I'm going to take off my hijab. It makes it easier. How does it get easier? By taking it off. When you take it off, you're doing something that Allah told you to do, and now you're not doing it. Because now the people will like you. But the one above the people, the one that controls the people, if he's not happy with that action, is it worth it? Now, if you wear the hijab and people don't like you, it's okay, because at the end of the day, you're pleasing the one that's above everyone. You're pleasing the one that's the most powerful, so you don't lose anything, right? But so many people are so caught up in the mindset of people are going to judge me, people are going to stare at me, people are going to feel this type of way of me. I'm scared to lose my friends. They should not be your friends anyway if you're scared of losing them. Let me tell you, I had people that I thought like I was not going to lose when I just became more religious as a whole, and I changed to everything, and even just in my character, I lost lots of people. But it doesn't surprise me, because if you were meant to stay, you would stay. Even if I looked like this or I looked like someone else, you would stay. And if me being a hijabi, me being even different, just generally different, like you could be a hijabi and act completely different, and then like through COVID and whatnot, and through a long time frame when you're self-isolated, completely change your character, and people just don't want to be around you anymore. They think you're boring, they think you're lame. And it's like, okay, if you don't like me anymore, you don't like me anymore. I'm not going to chase after you. I did nothing wrong. I embraced who I was and my full potential is. I embraced what my religion tells me, and I'm doing what I love. And if you don't like me like that, then I don't care, because it's not my job for you to like me. And that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to tell you guys so much. And as cliche as it sounds, it's not your job to make sure people like you. I don't care who likes me and who doesn't. Because if I was to sit here and start caring, then I wouldn't like myself. That's the thing. If you sit here and you start to care who likes me, who doesn't like me, and if you really make that your first job every single day you wake up, take account who doesn't like me today, who likes me today, who's my friend today, who's not my friend today, bro, you're gonna end up not liking yourself. That's what I'm saying. It's not your job to care that much about how other people view you and other people's whatnot. And make sure you don't hurt anyone, but realize that if you are embracing yourself and being yourself completely in what your religion tells you, and people don't like you for that, you scared of losing your friends, you got bad friends anyway in the first place. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I had those too. They left me. They left me. They never came back. It's okay. I'm not stuck up about it. God bless me with so much more. God bless me with this podcast platform. So stop being scared of losing a bunch of friends, or being stared at, or being, judged by people. These people are not going to pay your bills. They're not going to give a crap about you. And literally, especially for my girls, like maybe you're in high school right now. You're not even going to see them again another 3 years. Maybe you're in college. When your classes change that semester, they're not going to see you again. Let it go. Who cares? Why do you care so much about these people that you're not going to see again? I literally had to wire that in my brain, and now I can confidently tell you it's the best choice. Favorite surah and why? Okay, interesting. I'm gonna sound basic. I really like Surah Ad-Duha. If you want me to be honest, I have more like verses that I love from almost like every surah. Like I feel like every surah is beautiful in its own way, shape, or form. I don't think that I can ever pick one that I love the most. I have favorite verses from everything. Like I can open it up and be like, that's beautiful. So, um, the whole Quran. Thanks for asking. What is your favorite quote? Okay. Usually my favorite quote is like a Quran verse, like a hadith. But since you said quote, I'm assuming you mean like outside of that. I always have a favorite quote that changes like every other 3 to 4 days. I think recently my favorite quote has been, fear is the cheapest room in the house, and I'd like to see you live in better conditions. It's a quote by someone that I read online, and I like that quote a lot. And the reason why I like that quote is because recently I feel like for a very long time, I do feel like I lived in fear. I lived in a cheap room of fear, and I feel like I remind myself this quote a lot when I'm scared of doing something. I'm scared of an outcome. I'm scared of something, and I'm like, it's the cheapest room in the house. I know I deserve better, so I should stop doing that to myself. You know what I'm saying? That's been something I can think off the top of my head. I have so many favorite quotes. I have this memo pad list filled up with notes. I love them. Next ones. What's your favorite part about Ramadan and how do you make the most of it? Okay. I've really been into Tarawih recently. Unfortunately, I used to always get really little hearted because of Tarawih, because I can't go to the mosque. Like, I can, but it's like, the situation here is really complicated about that. And, there's the really nice big mosques that have more spaces all the way far away in like hours to drive. So it's just difficult to go, drive that far. And then the one nearby is just, it's not easy to always go there because it's very busy and whatnot. And even just after that, like, I don't know how to drive there personally. And so just generally, I feel like I've always been disheartened about going to the mosque because I don't have friends. I used to literally go to Tarawih almost all the time when I used to live in New York. I used to go with my friends. We used to go out. We used to eat. It was just fun. Like, I was so young and I didn't realize what a golden moment that was. But I got really disheartened of that concept. And yeah, you can pray Tarawih at home, and you should. It's great. You should pray Tarawih regardless. I feel like it took me a long time to really realize that it's okay. It's okay if you don't have friends. It's okay if you can't go to the mosque and, do all that. It's okay. You can do it at home. And that's why I recently started praying Tarawih, with my family, whatnot, alhamdulillah, which is a blessing because I know so many people don't even have that. And if you don't even have that, I highly encourage you to take your room and transform it to a very beautiful vibe, to like a little masjid vibe type of situation, like get your favorite candles, put on some nice candles, put on some nice scents, get a nice prayer mat, and like just make the vibe what you wish for it to be and make it really content and peaceful. And that's something I did for myself as well. You do not need expensive decoration. I see people decorating their houses all the time for Ramadan, and first of all, my family doesn't do that. And second, it's very expensive actually. You could literally you could do anything. You could literally get fake flowers and, hang them up around your room, and those cost like $1, $2. It's really about how you go about it, and actually decorating your room makes you feel so much more better when Ramadan comes around, because it's like, okay, you have a nice new scent, in the room. I love wax warmers. I don't know if you guys have those or if y'all prefer those. Some people like candles. I love wax warmers. I feel like I just love how, just put the cube in and it melts it itself, and it smells great. So just have small touches that you want to do to make it special. So the way that I make the most of it, I think, is I try to get everything else done before it. And I'm like, Tarawih, it's Tarawih and then straight to bed. And since I know I'm going straight to bed, I know I don't have anything else to do. I'm not going to rush through it, right? So that's one thing that I've been really loving. The next thing that I've been really loving is, honestly, this is going to sound weird, but staying in Sajud a little bit longer than usual. It's just been hitting different this Ramadan. It really has. I highly encourage you guys to try that. I do try that even outside of Ramadan, but like just staying there for a little bit longer, it really helps. The Hajj during Ramadan is always amazing. So yeah, that's that. How old are you? And they just said age, question mark. I'm 18, alhamdulillah. So I think everyone knows that already. Next question, marrying outside of your culture or sect, such as Shia or Sunni. I could talk about this forever. Okay, let me tell y'all. The discussion of sect is a very popular discussion. I get this comment quite often whenever I post Q&As, and I avoid talking about this a lot. It's come up in my Discord, it's come up in quite a few places, and I avoid talking about it because that's a big topic. And I just don't think I will ever have that much knowledge to speak on it. Now, when people do ask me, what am I? You guys might not like my answer, but I am a Muslim, and people don't like that answer. But if you look at, what the Quran tells us, what Islam tells us as a whole, it's like people that worship Islam are called Muslims. It was us that divided ourselves, that made ourselves, Sunni, Shia, this, and, whatever. And, I have people that sometimes ask me, what do you follow? And I'm like, well, I follow what the Quran tells me, what the Hadiths tell me. So they say to me, so you're Sunni. And I'm like, well, if you want me to be honest with you, I find that to be Muslim. But if you want to categorize me as Sunni, then okay, whatever. But I accept all the hadith, I accept all of that. I think that the companions, peace be, may Allah be pleased with all of them, I just don't think that me being the person that I am today, I don't think that anyone here in modern times should and can speak about people back in the day the way that they do. Unfortunately, I see on social media people cursing them out, people doing this, people doing that. And I'm not saying that this is all Shia people. This is not all Shia people. It honestly depends among communities. There's some who are very, like you won't even really be able to tell that they are Shia. There's some people that they're very chill about it. They accept, certain companions that have different acceptance, whatnot. And then there's some that they straight up curse out the Sahabas and whatnot. And I've seen both ends of the spectrums. That's why I don't like to generalize. I don't like to sit here and say, oh, all Shia people suck. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because people can say that about Sunni people and whatnot. And that's why I just don't like to categorize myself as either. Now, do people categorize me? Yes. There's been multiple times when people have asked me, what do you follow? Or situations like that. Or I have been in TikTok comments where I'm reading it and people are like, they're asking someone else, like, what do you follow? And they're like, oh, I just follow the Quran, the Sunnah, the Hadith, whatnot. They're like, oh, so you're Sunni. So people in the community just take it as that. And if you take it as that, then you take it as that. I don't care what you take it as. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Muslim, it is what it is. But I just feel like from my stance, again, I'm not trying to sound like a pro-Sunni or whatnot, because again, this is not something I like to talk about.
But when it, again, and neither am I trying to sound like I hate Shia people. No, like, this is not my stance. But I do disagree with the way that some people curse out the Sahabas. I just don't see how people like us have that position. I don't like it. I don't think that that's okay. And I just don't think I could ever, with my full chest, be able to curse out or say something like this about even someone prevalent and relevant and alive today. I just don't think that as human beings, that's a position we have. I feel that in general, even if it's in regards to history or it's in regards to today, to someone that lives down the street from me, I don't think that's something I can do, because my sins are my sins, their sins are their sins. I just don't think I'll ever have that much of a full chest and so much confidence. And I'm not saying that those people are confident and boastful. No, I'm just saying I don't think I will ever personally be so confident that I can sit here and curse someone out and not feel bad about it. Because no matter what happens, no matter what bad thing someone has done to me, or no matter what bad thing someone else has done everywhere else, whatever it may be, I just don't think that I have that much knowledge to sit here and say that. Am I spinning in circles? Maybe I am. But what I'm essentially trying to say is, yes, after saying this, some people may be like, okay, yeah, so she's Sunni. Okay, if that's what you want to take me as, that's what you want to take me as. But when people ask me what I am, I usually am just like, I'm Muslim. Because I don't like to go into that divide. And divides are really, really bad. They're really, really bad. No one likes divides, and it's not liked as well in the concept of Islam. No one likes this excessive division. I don't like it either. And it sucks because, it's, if you open up TikTok, it's constant slander of the one side to the other side, or the whatnot, whatnot. And it's like, can we just stop? But yeah, I don't have any problem with anyone. I just, there's certain things that I do feel like I disagree with, but I'm not gonna be one of those people that, like, try to kill you and hunt you down and whatnot. I'm not like that. And if anything that I said may have come off wrong, may Allah forgive me, because this is a sensitive topic and I avoid talking about it for this reason. So if I said anything wrong, or if I offended anyone, please forgive me, and may Allah forgive me as well. Now, when it comes outside of your culture, now, oh yeah, to answer your question, would I ever marry outside of my own sect? Absolutely not. I don't think so. It's just not something that I think I can. Again, I don't like to consider a sect in the first place. I don't even like to consider that as a discussion, right? But if I'm in a situation and this person, I never even brought up sect, but this person evidently tells me, hey, I'm a Shia, I don't accept, hadith. Again, some do, some do. I'm not saying that's all of them. Now, I'm telling you about my situation. Like, if someone said to me that they have this opinion and I don't agree with their opinion, I'm going to say no. Because if I don't agree with your opinion, this is going to cost long term. Because when it comes in regards to religion, you really need to be on the same page with someone. This isn't me being insulting. This isn't me being mean. And again, that's not all Shia people. Some Shia people, like, they do accept it. Again, I'm not saying that's all people. Please don't take me out of context. But even if it wasn't Shia, if it was someone that was, Sunni, again, and they said something to me that I felt was like really strange out of a religious context, I don't think I'd say yes. Because if you are having such different religious beliefs than me, I don't think that would be healthy in a marriage or in raising children. I don't think so. So I would say no. Now, when it comes to culture, I don't really care. I'm like, whatever. That's more of like a family thing. I don't have a problem, but yeah, may Allah forgive me. Please, guys, don't take me the wrong way. I just feel so guilty because this was a topic I never wanted to talk about, but it's a topic that keeps coming up. I like to just say that I'm a Muslim. I like to take it as that. And then after that, whatever people like to categorize me as, I'm like, okay, whatever. You do you. How do you get more Islamic friends? I genuinely have been trying, but I can't seem to. Sis, I can't either. Look at my podcast. It's really not your fault if you can't find any. Trust me, sometimes what's unfortunate is Muslim people, even if you live around a Muslim population, I think we don't talk about this enough, where you do live around a Muslim population, but everyone already has their friends, so they don't care about making new friends. They don't care about letting you in. They don't care if you're a revert. They don't care if you're some brand new move person. They don't care. And that is so unfortunate, and that's so sad, and I don't like how people do that at all. At the masjids, they'll just form their own groups and they won't ever talk to anyone. They won't ever like smile or just, like they'll leave you out. And I just feel like that's a little bit harsh and mean. May Allah forgive us if we ever done it unintentionally, but there's certain people that do it intentionally, and I don't like that at all. I think that's very harsh. So trust me, it's not your fault if you do have Muslim people around you and you're struggling to make friends. It's really not. Trust me. Someone said that I don't have a question, but I love your podcast and you're so cool, and I stop listening to music and as a reaver to help, something like that. Thank you. I love you. Here's a heart for you, a virtual heart that you probably can't see. But thank you. Those comments and sweet DMs like that really make me happy. I know that sometimes I just reply with hearts, but trust me, like, I genuinely take all those into account, and I love all of them. Self-confidence. I really need that. Okay, that's the next statement. Um, I think the biggest thing I can tell you about self-confidence is how do you measure yourself? This is a very big discussion. I'm going to be uploading a podcast episode on this soon, inshallah. How do you measure yourself? That is how self-confidence is grown. Do you measure yourself by people? Do you measure yourself by compliments? Do you measure yourself by how people perceive you? Or do you measure yourself by the spiritual state in the eyes of God? Think about that, answer that question, look into that. I will definitely try to make a bigger episode on that soon, inshallah. The next question is a lengthy one, but basically the person said, have you ever felt like, yeah, you were born to a Muslim family, but you had like a whole another like awakening towards Islam and I felt like you literally reverted? Of course. I think that was a really big part of my life where I felt like, yeah, I was Muslim, but it was kind of like, and yeah, I was praying, but it was like, when I really realized what I was believing in and why, it felt like it was a whole brand new experience. So yes, that is a normal experience for a lot of people, which is great because, waking up and realizing that, hold on, I'm not just believing in this because of my family. I'm believing in this because I actually love it. It's so amazing. It's a blessing every day. Tips for having sabr. Honestly, cry. I tell people this all the time. Sabr is not the enemy of emotion. You can cry if you want. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry to Allah. It's okay to be upset about it, but realize to not show ungratefulness. Do not sit there and be like, oh, God never gave me anything. God betrayed me. Why this happened? No, no, no. I heard this quote and it was a really sad quote. And it said, if there is a God, he will ask for my forgiveness. Astaghfirullah. But when I heard that quote, I was like, silent. I was like, that's not okay. And you know what? I feel like people like that who have that mindset, I feel like they've let the dunya get to them so much that they forgot the things that they're going through are a test and like there's a heaven after that. I don't know who that person was that said it or whatever. I don't know. And like it's just like a popular quote, but I just find that mindset crazy because people do have that mindset. And I find that mindset to be dangerous because when you're actually 6 feet deep and you realize God's real, I can promise you that's not the mindset you're gonna have. So if you feel like you want to cry, cry. If you feel upset, it's okay. But do not be ungrateful. Do not be harsh. Do not be bitter towards God. Realize that if you're keeping sabr, it is just a way for you to communicate with God even more than you ever did before. What practices other than the Quran and Sunnah can grow your iman? Good character. And that also develops from, I guess, the Quran and Sunnah, but actually applying that to yourself really helps a lot. And that's something we're all struggling with and all going through. I am as well. But like actually applying good character in your life and seeing how you change as a person, it really does something too, because you realize that you were someone before and now you're someone completely different, and that changes your life. I think how you also treat people, that's a big one. Because again, just relations within yourself and within people, that takes a big change in your life. Next question. Do you plan on memorizing the Quran by yourself or with a teacher? Inshallah. As of right now, I'm doing it on my own. Inshallah, may Allah accept it from me. But as of right now, I'm doing it on my own. I feel like I kind of like to be self-paced on my own. I like the fact that if I am really struggling with a verse, I don't have to force myself to fake like I memorized it. I'm slow. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm very slow at memorizing. There's certain days where I'm just staring at the one verse and I'm like, it's not sticking in my head. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you made the intention, you're gonna be rewarded for it anyway. So it's a journey. I like to go on that journey slowly and I like to enjoy it, and inshallah Allah accepts it from me. So please say inshallah right now. Thank you. What are you gonna study in college? Okay, interesting. Um, as of right now, I'm thinking about like rehab sciences and stuff like that. And, I feel like I don't even know if I'm a STEM type of person, if you want me to be honest. I change my mind every day. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, alhamdulillah, I'm Pakistani, but, then that means you have to be somewhere in STEM. So, as of right now, I'm floating around in health, in science area of the STEM, but let's see where it takes me. I'm honestly just going with the flow. I don't put much thought to it. I know so many people are really stressed about majors in college, and I was too at one point in my life, but then I just stopped thinking about it. I'm like, whatever's gonna be, it's gonna be. I'm not gonna worry too much about it, and I notice things come out better too when you just don't think about it too much. So I'm just kind of going with the flow. How can I get over a depression? I have lots of episodes on this. Please feel free to scroll down and listen to them. I think getting over depression, the first one is realizing that the way that you don't feel is crazy. You're not crazy for feeling sad, but two, realizing that you have the chance every single day to get up and make a change. You can sit here and say that, the circumstances are not in your favor, and I bet they aren't, but you do not want to go into a state of learned helplessness, which is a thing that I learned about in psychology, where even when you can escape, you choose not to escape your problems because you have learned helplessness. And that is a very bad mindset. And unfortunately, lots of people that are depressed actually have learned helplessness, where they know they can escape. Some of them know that they can get out on the other side, but they don't. And so please try to avoid that mindset. This is a very big topic. I have lots of episodes on this. Please feel free to scroll down and watch them. How do we differentiate and find the line between mental health in the media and mental health in Islam? And I love you. And I love you too. Okay, this is a great question. I talked to this girl about this in her DMs as well. Mental health in the media, I feel like from some perspective, is very janked up because they will tell you that, getting drunk is okay, getting one night stands is okay, and it's like self-care and therapeutic to let yourself go. And I think the biggest thing that you have to do is take bits and pieces from both ends. And what Islam tells you about mental health, first of all, take all of that in, and we should always be trying our best to apply that. What social media may tell you about mental health, you need to waver it through and look at it from an Islamic lens. Is this allowed Islamically? If someone's telling you get drunk, every night, that's not allowed Islamically. But if someone's telling you, hey, grow a little garden in your bedroom, that helps, with self-care and self-love, go out and get yourself a nice thing to eat, that helps. Like, view it. Then you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine, I should do that. So you have to take the bits and pieces from both and combine them, and that helps. I feel like if you are completely leaning towards self-love media, and that is your source, I think you're going to set yourself up for failure. Because if you do not have God in mind when you're trying to heal and become a better person and love yourself, I feel like it's a setup for failure. I just don't see it working long term. I think that it's like I hate to say this, but I feel like it's just kind of like a mind state for a little bit, and after that, like, you will find yourself collapsing. And that happens even when you do have God in mind, but it's like you have more strength. You know where you're falling, you know your foundations, you know your basis, and you have a religious and spiritual state of mind, which is very important, instead of just having a social media self-care state of mind. You make me feel calm every time I listen to your podcast. Thank you for that. Thank you for listening. I appreciate, your kind comment. I appreciate you listening to me. So, yeah, thanks. What's one thing that made you get into the deen? Pain. Pain. I think we all go through some pain that makes us come to this point. So yes, I'm gonna be very brutally honest with you. It wasn't no, fun, light story. I didn't have no friends that took me to the mosque and I was like, woo, no, it was pain. Staying up late night crying, suicidal thoughts, whatnot. Like, it was a long journey that I don't really talk about that much in depth, but lots of pain, and it got me here today. Alhamdulillah. Next one, are you still in school? Yes, I am. I'm still in school, guys. Um, I didn't become those people that dropped out because of the podcast. I don't think that's ever gonna be me. But I'm still in school. Alhamdulillah. Do you have any wishes, dreams, and stuff like that that you really wish would come true? The question was something along those lines. Um, yeah, I really want to have a cafe. I really love to cook. I love when people ask me to cook for them. I like to make food. I love to experiment with new dishes. I like to do mixed cuisine. I find that very fun. Um, growing up, I feel like as a Pakistani girl, you know, just coming from a cultural background, I feel like they expect you to know how to cook, or like you'll go to hell. Like, they make it seem like if you don't know how to cook, you're gonna die, which is stupid because I think men should know how to cook as well. You really should. Men, you need to learn how to cook. If you're listening to this, please learn how to cook. Your wife is your partner. She's not your maid. She's not your personal nanny that comes in to clean, and it's sad because our culture makes it seem like, oh, it's okay if a man doesn't know how to cook. He can put water in a cup. That's fine. That's fine. That's all he needs to know. You need to know how to self-suffice yourself. And but that's one of the reasons why, like, growing up, lots of girls, they hate the concept of cooking because they're like, oh my god, it's a misogynistic. No, girl, trust me, like, get into the kitchen and cook for you, and like, because you want to do it, and it's so therapeutic and it's so fun, and I find it amazing, and I like to cook for people. I like to feed people. I just feel like that's one of my big love language things, because I don't know, is that weird? I think I am pretty good at expressing myself emotionally as well, but like, with my family, it's like I really love to cook for them. It's another thing that, sometimes it fails, but majority of the time it comes out good. So, yeah, I do want to open up like a food place, a nice halal food cafe shop thing. That's always a big dream. Inshallah, maybe one day, but that's not like a dream that I'm working towards actively. But If someone's listening to this and they want to like sponsor my dream, please feel free. I'm kidding, but I think that's the one thing that I can think of off the top of my head. The other thing is like my another dream of mine is like I really want to open up like a really big wellness center, like mindfulness, spiritual body, whatnot. But that's lots of money and lots of degrees. So maybe one day, inshallah. What are your hobbies? Okay, I love to paint. That's something that I've been trying to get back into recently. I just haven't had time. I love to do Arabic calligraphy. I love to do Quranic verse calligraphy. Those are so fun. I love to do DIYs. I know that's so childish. I'm one of those people that sometimes sit there on YouTube and they're like, how to make a lantern. I'm sitting there chopping up paper. How to make a snowflake. I'm genuinely those people. I am the target audience. I actually kind of enjoy cleaning. This is gonna sound like such a pick me. Here's the thing. I like cleaning when no one's over my head. When no one's telling me, oh, you better clean that right. Or, hey, you didn't clean today. Like, right when you start talking, no, stop. Be quiet. But when I'm cleaning for me, like for myself, like I'm just cleaning, like it's a vibe. I got whatever I want to listen to playing. Got like, something interesting playing, a khutbah or whatnot. I'm cleaning the kitchen. Like it's fun because it's like, okay, now I have a clean space and I genuinely do better then too. But right when someone starts standing over my head, they're like, oh yeah, you better clean that too. You better clean the kitchen. It wasn't good last time. Or you know what? Like you should be cleaning all the time anyway. Or like, how people start saying like cultural stuff. I'm like, okay, now you make me mad and you gonna scrub the floor yourself because you made me mad. I'm kidding. I don't get mad over it, but like I'm just kind of like type of salty thing. I also recently have been trying to get into nature a lot more, but this pollen doesn't want me. The nature just doesn't want me. That's what I'm getting because, baby, let me tell you, if you live in the South, when those white trees, listen, if you don't live in the South, maybe if you live in the US and the other parts, you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't live in the US, you might not know what I'm talking about, but especially for my audience that lives in the South, when those white trees come, them white little cherry blossom looking trees, the devils, I'm telling you, bro, devil, straight devil, bro. When those trees come, the pollen that goes in the air, they're so beautiful. The trees are so beautiful. I'm sitting there taking pictures of them sneezing, exploding, but they hate me. And I know that it's not just those trees. It's, the environment as a whole, but like when those trees come, the pollen level just goes up and it's just like but yeah, nature, I'm waiting for summer really because when it gets like peak hot summer, the pollen does get a little bit better.
Next question, what are some things you find peace in? I feel like I find peace in, of course, spiritual activities, praying, reading Quran, whatnot. That's always great. But I think I also find peace in talking to someone. I feel like that's so important. Like when you have someone you trust and you just sit there and you talk to them about things that are really stupid, but things that are meaningful to you. I think that is something I find lots of peace in. And of course, in Islam and in God and whatnot. Next one, can you spell your name? Yes, my name is Hira. My name is Hera. I know it's pronounced differently in some different areas, but that is how I was grown up hearing my name pronounced. That is how I like to believe it's pronounced culture-wise. So yeah, that's my name. I know that lots of you probably don't know my name, but that's my name. Now you know. That is so weird. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I never once in my podcast, as far as I'm aware, ever sat there and been like, "Hey y'all, my name's Hera." That's so weird. Okay. Next question is, do you have a crush on someone? No. No. No, I don't. I don't actively like I'm no, I don't men have cooties. No, I'm kidding, but I just don't care. I just feel like this is one of those things, like I mentioned this earlier too, and I get this question a lot. I just don't actively look for anyone. I don't, how do I put this in words? I just feel like that's not my main concern right now. I'm one of those people that I'm kind of like, okay, it'll come to me itself, hopefully, inshallah. Like I just don't like to think too much about things that may worry me. So this is one of those things. I just don't think about that too much, or about like why don't some girls, they're constantly like someone. I have friends that like they like someone at every stage of their life. Like they cannot not like someone. And I'm like, y'all, drop the crushes. It's liberating to just be free. Like it's liberating to not have to worry about anyone. Go to sleep at night. No one, you don't gotta worry about nobody. But yeah, I'm not saying that in like a feminist way because I do not support that. I'm just saying generally, like, you're young and being a girl, like, enjoy your breath of freedom. You know, they always say men are like, oh, thank God, you know, I'm not married. Thank God, you know, I'm free from the shackles of women. I'm sorry, but I think us women can kind of say the same, you know? It gets exhausting sometimes. So, but yeah, I don't have anything like that going on in my life right now. I'm just one of those people that I'm like, God will bring it forth to me, and whatever's interested is will come on its own. I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm bland. If you expected something interesting from me in that area, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Your favorite food? Okay, oh my God, I have so many favorites. If we're talking about like basic foods, like I love fries. They're so good. You know, of course, pizza, but you know, a lot of, let me think. I love me a good kebab, you know, that always hits. A good BBQ. We love that. Pakistani food, period. Just, yeah, what can I say? I'm pretty good with food overall. Your favorite outfit? I think my favorite outfit would be anything that's just long, baggy, and modest. I know that sounds like such a pick me, oh my God. But I genuinely feel like when you wear stuff like that, you feel the prettiest. No one can tell you anything about your body. No one can tell you anything about how you look. You just are doing it for you, and I like that a lot. Next one, how did you learn how to read the Quran? I learned since I was a child from teachers. I had teachers that taught me. If you don't have a teacher to teach you, that's no problem. You can go on YouTube and there's lots of videos that literally do every single little letter sound out for you. There's lots of nice stuff on YouTube on how to, you know, learn how to read the Quran. Next one is how are you? Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I don't have people that ask me that very often, so when people ask me that, it makes me very happy. Alhamdulillah. Advice for reverts as they navigate their Islamophobic family. Honestly, I think that when God is by your side, no one can hurt you. And I tell that to my reverts all the time. I know you're scared. I know that they might kick you out the house. I know they may do this, they may do that. Remember that when God is by your side, no one can hurt you. Your family, unfortunately, does not know better. They don't, you know, and you can't be mad at them. You can't say, you know, harsh things to them because Islam wants you to keep good family ties. You know, lots of situations, even in our history, where things went very badly, like our Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, you know, his dad literally made idols with his own hands. You know, some people say his dad, but some people had other relations, whatever it was, family members literally made idols with his own hands. You know, it is what it is, and you will have to bear through situations like that. But remember that you are worshiping what you're worshiping for you. Your soul is meant to outlive this earth. It's way more than just about your family. This is about you. This is about your dream. This is about your ahira. Love what you do and do not let anyone take this away from you. Last question, why do you not show your face? Okay, I think I've talked about this before. This is something that I always get various opinions on, and I feel like I'm trying to also understand where I stand on it. There's one end of the spectrum where they say that women can show their face, you know, women don't have to be hidden away. They're preaching, they're doing dawah, whatever. And I know lots of amazing, you know, women scholars that, you know, are very knowledgeable and they show their face, they talk, whatnot, and it's not a problem. Then the other end of the spectrum, they say that women should not show their face, period. It's fitna, it doesn't lead to anything good. And I agree with that as well, that sometimes, you know, women, if they show their face on social media and they're not stern about the situation and they're not stern about, you know, don't like, you know, be in my comments simping for me, whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. Like, if you're not stern about it, and at the end of the day, you can't. Here's the thing. Lots of women post their faces, their bodies, and whatnot, and then they say, "Oh, you should have been lowering your gaze." But you also have to remember that you have to be mindful about what you post. It comes on both ends. And am I saying that to justify crappy actions? No, because people should lower their gaze. People should be careful. But you also need to remember that when you post something, you also need to be mindful that you're putting yourself out there. Okay. Um, but if you're a woman and you know people, unfortunately men, they find something attractive in you, you don't want to be the reason someone's not lowering their gaze. But at the same time, you know, your intention also could have been good. You also could have been posting it for something good. Your intention probably wasn't that, but you also posted yourself. And it's just like so much conflict between both of these things where I view both ends. And sometimes I do think I'm like, well, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just my face. If I was walking on the street or if I was to do a meet and greet, people would see my face. If I was to do a meet and greet, people would see my face. Or if I chose to be a niqabi, you know, if inshallah when that time comes, like people would see me still. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't have a big issue with that. I have some girls that, you know, I have one girl in particular that I knew before I even made a podcast. She knows exactly what I look like. She listens to my podcast all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if she knows me. I have had, you know, certain girls in Discord be like, "Oh my God, can I please see what you look like?" And I've sent them pictures of myself. I'm like, "This is me." And then, you know, they never forwarded it on, deleted it. Like, I delete it. It's a really strict, I don't show people that I don't trust. You know, if people beg me enough, if you're a girl, I'll probably just be like, "Okay, fine, let me just quickly show you your private DM and I'll delete the picture." Or just like on a video call, something like that, right? But it's like, when it comes to posting my face publicly, like on Instagram, I just feel like, again, here's the thing. I don't think about looks. I know that some people may think, oh, I'm pretty. Some people may think, no, I might not be someone's cup of tea. That's okay. That's okay. But my thing is that I just feel like I want people to listen to me. I want people to listen to what I have to say. I don't want people to watch me because of my face. I don't want people to, watch me because I'm a person that posts their face. And now this sounds so stuck up and arrogant. This sounds like I'm saying, oh, I'm so pretty. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, generally, and I said this in my last episode as well, people like to see a face. People like to know that an account has a face. People like to know that someone, a human being, is behind the account, because it just makes the account feel more natural. When you don't show your face, people get curious. I would get curious too if I was a listener of my own podcast. I'd be curious on what I look like, right? So it isn't like a stuck up or arrogant thing. God knows that's not my intention. If anything, it's more of like a safety thing, because I don't want to be held accountable for something, or be in fire for something, or have anything slip off because I show my face. I don't want the value of my message to slip away because I show my face. I don't want people to come on my page and be like, oh yeah, let me see what she looks like today. I want people to come on my page and say, I wonder what she's talking about today. Do you get me? Like, and I hate to say this because it sounds boastful, it sounds arrogant, it makes me sound stuck up, like I think I'm the prettiest thing in the world. No, that's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I think that I don't care about that much. I think that it's Allah. Allah's made every single person, and I feel like that alone makes every single person beautiful, which I know some people may find that so cliche, but how can I just don't think that, looks, I think they were made by God, and God made skies and mountains in that way. I think that everyone is beautiful, mashallah. And I know that some people may say that sounds like a pick me. I don't care how you view it. I think that God does not make mistakes. So mashallah to all of you. But I think that's my 2 cents on that. I feel like I'm just struggling to understand how I want to go about it. I know that within girls, some people do say that I'm a little bit too tight, because it's like, if it's just girls, it's not a problem. But I do get concerned because I don't want, someone to accidentally post it or something like that to happen. It's like, I feel like this is a war that I'm trying to figure out myself on how I feel about it, because, some people, they just put on a niqab and then they share Islamic knowledge, no problem. People like that. But at the same time, like, why do I need to show my face for you guys to want to hear me? Now, I'm not saying any offense to this person. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about you guys directly. I'm just saying generally there's certain people that they don't want to hear a message unless they see a person's face. And I feel like sometimes you gotta value the message more than the face. And again, no insult to the person that asked. I get this question all the time, and I think it's just something that I'm working through, because one part of me does think that, like, what good is there from a woman showing her face? You know what I'm saying? A part of me does think that, or I'm like, what's gonna happen? Some people might be like, oh, you're so pretty, whatnot, but that's like, it also kind of leads gates to fitna in a way sometimes. But at the same time, I'm not saying that women, are it's complicated. Like, I'm not shaming the women that do it. You do you. I'm just feel like I don't understand where I stand on this, and it's one of those things where if I post a picture of myself once, I can't take it back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I make a decision on this, I need to be firm on it. And as of right now, I feel like I'm okay with the decision of not showing my face, because I just find it to be comfortable. I find it to be more important that people hear what I have to say. More important that people come on my page and they say, I'm looking for a useful reminder, not I wonder what she looks like today. I wonder what color dress she's wearing today. No, it's about like what I gotta say, and I like that. So yeah, I don't mean to sound arrogant or boastful in any way, shape, or form. May Allah forgive me if that's what I came off as. I don't mean that at all. I just feel like, for the sake of whatnot, I just feel like that's the best decision for me right now. But anyway, hopefully this Q&A was fun. I will wrap it up right here. I'm going to have another episode soon, inshallah, where I will be sharing really, really interesting responses from you guys. If you follow me on Instagram, I think you guys know what this episode will be about next. But thank you guys so much for the Q&A, for, listening to me talk for this long. I find it so crazy that people even send in questions and wonder about me. It's weird, but I love it. It's cute to know that people care. So alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you guys. I hope you guys are having a safe Ramadan, and assalamu alaikum.